On this week's Tuesday Talk, we are answering the question, why in the world did you live in an Airstream for a year without going anywhere? Some of you already know this story a little bit, but we thought we'd clarify or give all the reasons up front. Since we are going somewhere 3 weeks.
Yes. Oh, so it's always been the plan to leave it originally started in February of this year. It got pushed back to April of this year. But we bought the Airstream in April of last year. And one of the reasons why we did that is to really get to know the Airstream before we start traveling. We get to fix some of the things we don't like. We get to renovate what we want to renovate, like we saw with the floors and the cabinets and some of the other things in the desk. So really giving us a chance to get used to living in this kind of space. Yeah. While stationary, still have access to all the services of the cities. You know, we're still in civilization, and we were both still working at the time as well. So we definitely had the money to do some of these upgrades.
Yeah, and you don't really know some of the things we knew we wanted, like the solar, but we didn't know how much we'd need. And yeah, we knew we didn't like the dinette setup, but we didn't know what the ideal setup would be. And so we didn't want to rush into just putting lots of money into the Airstream without first living in it.
For sure, yeah.
But traveling, if we had waited a year and just stored the Airstream or bought one later or something like that, then we would have been traveling and possibly trying to do these upgrades, which is also not that ideal.
Yeah, I mean it's possible, but it certainly makes it more difficult.
Yeah. So we knew our timeline. We could have stayed in our house. We could have not bought the Airstream, or we could have bought it and just stored it. We could have stayed in the house. But we also were trying to test out the lifestyle and see if we liked living in an Airstream. Because you don't know.
Yeah. I mean, this is a brand new lifestyle for us. So, I mean, you're not going to know until you actually start doing it.
No. And so it was kind of like a test out phase. If we didn't like it, then we could always buy another house or rent somewhere or do something different.
And we both still had our jobs, so yes, we didn't really risk much by moving in early.
Now, why did we keep our jobs? So that's a question I've had, is like, once people were like, oh, you bought the Airstream, you started living in it, how was it that you were just like, didn't just say, forget it?
This is a question I've had for the past year.
So his job was remote, as many of you guys know. He retired in December, or I guess December 31st. So he's been retired.
December 23rd was my last official day. Yeah.
I'm still working, and my job is what ties us here to Tucson. And so why didn't we just say, forget about it, we can make money later on the road? Couple reasons. We are retiring early. We are not planning to ever have to work full-time again. And if we had just said forget about it, we would have been in an unstable financial situation. Granted, not for many years, but it was a much better financial decision to work all the way through to the date that we had set so that we have the money for long-term retirement there. There's also a matter of loyalty. So I actually kind of like my job as much as you can like a job. I like the people I work with. I enjoy the problems I solve. If I could do it on the road, I'd be doing it in a heartbeat, maybe part-time, but I can't. And
that's remarkable to me.
I know. So it's not worth staying and missing out on the adventure that we have planned, but I wanted to make sure I gave my fullest to my team before I left. And so that is another reason why we didn't just say forget about it and just quit and go.
Mm-hmm. And that's one of the reasons why you're still working now and I'm not. Because you happen to get a little bit more satisfaction out of your job than I got out of mine when I was still working.
Yes.
So,
yeah. And then the other reason that we decided to not just store the Airstream and live in the house was, besides wanting to get the feel for living in an Airstream and figure out what kind of DIY renovations we wanted to do, was also the budget. So again, we're retiring early. So we were trying to save as much money as possible. When we were both working, we were saving 75% of our income. And moving into the Airstream helped us do that. It's a pretty decent amount. We got rid of the mortgage and the electric,
both
and the
mortgages,
water and everything else, and now just have our campsite and electric here, which the electric's like 0 now because of our solar.
Yeah, it's pretty close to 0.
Yeah. So we could still be doing it cheaper. The campsite we chose is not the cheapest in Tucson by any means, but it is comfortable, and we knew we were going to be doing it long term, so we wanted to make sure that we were comfortable.
Yeah, and we had a nice place for the dogs to walk around, and there was
Exactly.
some grass and that kind of thing, which in Tucson, you don't necessarily find grass all over.
Yeah.
Especially grass that's not dead.
Yes.
And they actually maintain the grass here, so that's kind of nice.
Yeah. So those are the reasons that we have been sitting and living in our Airstream for an entire year through the hot summer of southern Arizona.
If we had to do it again, would we?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think so. We're not doing another summer. We're out of here April 1st.
Yeah, but we learned a lot about both our Airstream and living in our Airstream.
And about ourselves.
In the comfort of not having to worry about traveling all the
Yes.
time yet.
Yes.
But that's going to change real soon.
And that way we can totally focus on the experience of travel. We already know we can live in our budget. We already know we can live in the Airstream with each other. So now the new adventure is the travel. And I think that's going to be awesome.
We're just adding an extra element of fun
Exactly.
in 3 weeks.
Yeah. So that's it for this week's Tuesday Talk. As always.
And we figured out healthcare. This is a total shameless tease. I apologize. But we figured out healthcare, and we're going to publish that video the week that we leave, which should be the week of the 27th, I think. So look out for that.
We leave on the 1st, which is a Saturday. Are we going to publish it?
Whatever the Monday is before that. Or the Tuesday is before that.
Okay.
Tuesday. This is the Tuesday before the 1st of April.
Yeah. A couple weeks from now on our Tuesday Talk, we'll be talking about healthcare.
Boy, that was smooth.
Yeah, that was good, Steve. We just figured that out. He's a little excited.
Yeah.
But if you have any other questions for us, please leave them in the comments below because we're always looking for more topics for the Tuesday Talk. And if you like these videos, if you could give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And soon you will be seeing lots and lots of travel vlogs.
Mm-hmm.
Very soon. Okay, guys, that's it for this week. Bye, guys.
Bye.